So I recently received something very exciting in the mail, and it's the original PS Vita OLED model. And I've been wanting this for quite a while. I actually have the slim version that I think I got back in 2019, and I put a lot of good use to it, but at the time I wasn't collecting physical games, just doing digital only, or the workaround, if you will. But recently I've been really wanting to collect physical Vita games because there are a lot of great titles that haven't been ported over to the Switch yet, and I just find that the Vita system is much more comfortable for certain genres, especially visual novels, compared to, say, the Switch. And I actually import a lot of things from Japan in another hobby. So I thought with the Vita being a region-free device, it was a good time to look into options. And luckily, I was able to snag this for around $100. So first I'm going to do an unboxing because I haven't actually opened this guy up yet and determined if this is actually a good deal or not. And then also do a comparison with my slim model. And then after that, I'm going to go into some tips and recommendations when it comes to importing things like consoles from Japan. All right, so here is a closer look at the box. I'll go into details later, but I did import this from Amazon Japan. And in that particular listing, it did share photos of what unit I was actually purchasing. But let's open it up, and it looks like they kind of just stuck this in here, which is okay. Okay, let's look at this a little closer. Okay, that should do it. It is a little dusty, but that should obviously come off fairly easily. And you do see the roof of my room, but I don't see any scratches, which is a plus. That is, I think, the #1 thing you should look for when buying a PS Vita used. And let's check out the back side. And from what I could tell, other than obviously fingerprints, probably mostly my own, I don't see any heavy scratches, so this is great. So the listing I picked said it was in very good condition. It's, you know, one of the Amazon kind of used grading systems, and I would have to agree. All the buttons feel pretty good, and the moment of truth, let's see if it turns on. So you have to hold down the power button up here, and okay, it's turned on. This is great. So yeah, I think just for this alone, for $100 is a really good deal, especially for this OLED model. And so, as I mentioned, this is of course region free, so I can pick English, United States. But the thing, I'll get through this, I guess, later. But the thing to note on this is that the X and circle buttons are inverted on the Japanese models compared to the US models. But other than that, it acts just like a regular US North American model. This also was supposed to come with all the other things. So let's open this guy up. And so it has all the original paperwork and things. I don't see I think this came with AR cards originally, but I didn't really need them. But the thing that I really wanted to make sure I got in this model was the charging cable, because it has a special one that you can't just use a regular cable like the slim model. So I wanted to make sure I had that, and then you have just a Sony power bank and the other cord. So it comes with everything except I don't think this had a memory card, so that is something I actually need to pick up. But because I plan on just playing, yeah, no, it doesn't have the proprietary memory card, but I'm really just gonna pick up an 8 GB one on eBay. I think they go for around $15 with free shipping. So that's not too big of a deal, especially because I don't plan on downloading any games on this system. That's what I'll just have my slim version for. So that should be enough just for save files. Now for just a quick little comparison. The way to identify the OLED model versus the slim model, I think the most obvious point is the buttons down here. For the PlayStation, the select and start are round on the slim model. They're more oval on the OLED model, and also you usually have a different color by the buttons. So there's a kind of a harder plastic around there, whereas it's more seamless on the slim model. But yeah, when it comes to form factor and weight, the OLED model is definitely heavier. I would say considerably so. Like this is super light. And it's definitely thicker, which I was expecting. But I think for the screen quality, it's going to be really nice, especially for some of the more niche RPGs that I've been eyeing to get physical versions of. They are sadly increasing in price these days. I think for some of the later like visual novels, I heard that the contrast isn't as obvious when you compare the screens, but we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy to have picked up the original model, and I can't wait to start playing on it and collecting some more physical games to see how it does compare to this slim model. So here I've pulled up my order details for the PS Vita I just purchased. You see I paid just under 12,000 yen, which is around 90 USD right now. Actually, let me share this. So this is what I always do to see. So okay, so it's just around under $93. The nice thing about ordering from Amazon Japan is that they have a very competitive DHL shipping rate. So there are two shipping options. I want the more expensive one because it was only a few dollars more. And that way, this package arrived to me just in a few days. And so 36.47 yen is around $28. And so this is a really good shipping rate for 3 items that I wanted to order from Amazon Japan anyway. So I think if I just ordered the Vita alone, it would have been around 2,800 yen. And then just for a few dollars more, I was able to add the Akami Switch game, which I might do a Switch collection video soon. I'm probably going to share my collections with you guys. I mostly collect handheld games, including the Switch. That aside, I also ordered this Japanese TV guide magazine for my other hobby. But yeah, so this was a really good deal, I think, and I'm just going to share how I searched for this, basically. I should also preface this by saying that I am located in the United States. As it says here, they delivered to 65 different, they say destinations and regions. I'm going to guess that's also just means countries. But, it's very, I think, accessible, and I'm not sure how DHL shipping rates from Japan to other countries are at the moment, but I would say out of all the Japanese sites I've been dealing with when it comes to importing, Amazon Japan definitely has one of the more competitive rates. But up here, what I do to search for Vita systems is I just do Vita, PCH, and if you want the OLED model, it's going to be 1,000. And I also like to just mark international shipping. And so this is a listing actually I was looking at. As you see, that was my last purchase. And they do have, I think, new options for a lot more money, but I like to look at the used section. And a lot of the Japanese sellers do put like photos of the unit that you could buy. And another thing to note, when it comes to Japanese seller grading, I found more often than not, they grade things much more harshly than, say, American sellers. So acceptable here just means there might be some light scratches, and there's no box. So that's why it's kind of like a lower grade that I typically don't buy like on the American, like on the US Amazon store. Whereas good, again, you could kind of use Google Translate to kind of see what any notes in here, but typically if they say there's light scratches, that means you probably can't see it that easily. But yeah, definitely kind of look at the used section, I think, on these listings. There's different units that pop up all the time. And if you don't want it in black like I got, you could also get it in the white and see what options are available at the moment. Or I kind of did want the red version, but I got the black unit for such a good price, and it looks like no one's selling the red unit at the moment on Amazon Japan. That I passed it up. And then, okay, so there's also the sapphire blue one, which is also really pretty. And there's a few different options you could look at. But yeah, you're gonna see prices all over the board, but I think around anything under like 14,000 yen, I think is kind of the sweet spot. I'm sharing Amazon Japan first because I think this is the easiest way to import. Alternatively, you could also look at eBay, which I think a lot of people typically do. And as you can see, prices are a lot more expensive. And if we wanted it without the memory card, so just to make it comparable to what I just purchased, you can see that it's $160, and I think eBay also charges tax within the US. Let me verify this quickly. Yeah, so if you buy it on eBay, you also are going to have to pay sales tax if you live in the US, so that's just another thing to be aware of. And they do have options that are around the $100 mark, but again, you'll have to pay tax on it if you live in the US. But for example, this listing, they don't include the box. If you want to have the original box, that's just something you have to kind of consider when looking around. The third option that is also something to consider, especially if you're looking for limited edition models, is to use a proxy service. So I'm just going to list a few different Japanese sites that are popular to import from. But in order to import from these sites, you're going to have to use a proxy service. So the proxy will have a small commission fee and buy the item for you, have it delivered to the warehouse, and then ship it to your international address. With all those kind of fees and steps, it can get a little bit expensive, but if you plan on importing a lot of things and just doing a combined shipment, it might be worthwhile just to do that. So Mercari Japan is a popular site, though I will caution you that you're going to have to use VITA as the proxy service, and they're not my favorite proxy service. I think their fees are kind of expensive, but they are an option. You can look through here. Though a word of caution is that sites like VITA won't always let you order from overseas. So it looks like, yeah, so there are listings if you search directly on Mercari's site that are saying it's only available in Japan. So the seller only wants to, they don't want to deal with a proxy service basically. So if you're keen on buying from Mercari Japan, it's best just to look at VITA's search options instead of on the site. Another competitor to Mercari Japan is Rakuten, or Frill is what it used to go by. And so this has a lot more flexibility on what proxy services you could use. So I think most proxy services that allow you to buy from flea market sites will let you buy from here. So just do some research on what proxy service to use before you commit. And yeah, there are a lot of options, and you may still run into sellers who don't want to deal with proxy services, but I found on Rakuten Rukama it's less frequent than Mercari. But yeah, another site to look at. If you want to just use the regular Rakuten shopping, there are some listings for used VITA items. You can also find, I think, brand new ones, but again, that's going to run you a little bit more money. But this is still an option, and you might stumble upon a really good deal. Yeah, the prices are a bit more expensive on here. And there are some listings that don't really share any photos of what the unit looks like. With this site, I think a lot of proxy services also offer special coupons if you order on a special day, like Wednesday or Thursday or something, or provide coupons. So that's something else to consider. And then the last one that you might want to look at is Yahoo Japan Auctions. And so this is not, this is sort of acts like eBay in a way because they have auctions. But there are some buy it now options as well, depending on the listing. VITA. And so you can see how many bids there are, and most proxy services will buy from here. Just be careful with what the seller lists as domestic shipping. Sometimes sellers inflate that price, and you don't want to get caught. And you don't want to commit to an auction that maybe sold for like, say, 100 yen, but had an astronomical domestic shipping fee. But yeah, those are a few places that I recommend considering when importing from Japan. Again, if you want the OLED model, it's going to be the PCH 1000. If you want the slim model, it's going to be the PCH 2000. The PS Vita was a very popular system in Japan, so I don't think you're going to have any problems finding them and for good prices. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I'll try my best to help out. And another thing I forgot to mention, why I liked using Amazon Japan over these proxies is most of the proxy services will make you pay through PayPal, which has a really high currency exchange rate. Amazon Japan has their own currency exchange rate, so you can place an order in USD, but I actually prefer to place my orders in Japanese yen because I have a credit card that doesn't have a foreign transaction fee, so it comes out a little bit cheaper. So another little tip. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, and good luck with your PS Vita hunting. I'll be back. I'm thinking my next video is going to be sharing all of my handheld consoles, and then I'll get into all of my game collections. So yeah, stay tuned, and happy gaming, everyone.